Gentoo penguins are the speedsters of the Antarctic seas. With torpedo-like bodies, they dart through the water at over 30 kilometers per hour.
The southern elephant seal is the true giant of Antarctic beaches. Males weighing over 4 tons battle for dominance. Adelie penguins crowd onto rare ice-free rocks exposed during the short summer. Each pair gathers small stones to...
Here, orcas are not just powerful, they are strategic. Working as a coordinated team, they generate waves.
Beneath the frozen ceiling of sea ice, the largest animal ever known glides in near silence.
Antarctica's ice is constantly in motion. As it flows toward the sea, it fractures.
Pure white against a world of white, the snow petrel is one of Antarctica's most resilient birds, nesting on these exposed shores. Antarctic fur seals jostle for resting space. Dominant males defend small On these exposed shores, Antarctic fur seals jostle for resting space. Dominant males defend small territory.
For the Weddell seal, the ice is both barrier and shelter. By knowing open breathing holes with their teeth, they maintain. After weeks cradled on their parents' feet, emperor penguin chicks take their first cautious steps into the colony. On the abyssal plain, life takes unusual forms. Sea stars, brittle stars, and streamlets.
Even drifting icebergs carry life. Algae tint their submerged faces green, while tiny invertebrates. Far below the reach of sunlight, the colossal squid haunts the Antarctic abyss. With eyes the size.
With wings spanning more than 3 meters, the wandering albatross can travel thousands of kilometers without a single flap. The leopard seal is Antarctica's most formidable inshore predator. With a body built for speed and a mouth lash with interlock.
Antarctic krill gather in immense swarms, sometimes stretching for kilometers, each no larger than a finger. Hidden on the underside of sea ice, microscopic algae form a living carpet. Though each cell is tiny, emperor penguins are the most dedicated parents of the polar world. To reach their breeding grounds, they march for dozens of kilometers.
At the southern edge of our planet lies a world forged by ice and sculpted by wind. Across ice, ocean, and sky, Antarctica supports an astonishing array of life. Each species.
On the abyssal plain, life takes unusual forms. Sea stars, brittle... When the Antarctic blizzard arrives, the continent vanishes. Visibility drops to almost nothing. Even drifting icebergs carry life. Algae tint their submerged faces green, while tiny invertebrates... In this frozen realm, where storms ray and temperatures plunge, life persists through... Adelie penguins often dive in groups to confuse predators. Safety here is in numbers. Some icebergs appear almost black, their frozen cores compressed over millennia, absorb nearly...
Type C orcas, specialists of the frozen Ross Sea, navigate narrow under-ice channels with astonishing intelligence.
Southern blue-eyed shags build nests on exposed cliffs. With each stick carried through biting winds, young orcas learn hunting strategies through imitation. Every wave, every dive, absorbed and practiced under the watchful eyes of their pod.
Antarctic sea stars gather in surprising densities, competing for the limited food that falls from above.
A single Antarctic cod navigates a labyrinth of sculpted ice, weaving through tunnels carved.
The Antarctic toothfish, prized by predators and fisheries alike, drifts through freezing depths. The South Polar skua is Antarctica's notorious thief. Tenacious and cunning, it targets.
The Antarctic silverfish is a crucial link in this frozen ecosystem. Tiny, shimmering, and adapted to Southern blue-eyed shags build nests on exposed cliffs. With each stick carried through biting winds, young orcas learn hunting strategies through imitation. Every wave, every dive, absorbed and practiced under the watchful eyes of their pod.
A
A single Antarctic cod navigates a labyrinth of sculpted ice, weaving through tunnels carved.
Black-browed albatrosses engage in elaborate courtship rituals, synchronized movements, bill tapping, and
Foam jellies drift like living prisms, their bodies glowing in shifting rainbow colors as tiny hairs beat rhythmically to propel them.
Foam jellies drift like living prisms, their bodies glowing in shifting rainbow colors as tiny hairs beat rhythmically to propel them.
S. The Antarctic midge is the continent's only true insect. Tiny, wingless, and astonishingly resilient.
Ribbon seals, rarely seen, glide between drifting ice flues. Their striking banded coats help them blend into the patchwork of shadow and snow.
Southern blue-eyed shags build nests on exposed cliffs. With each stick carried through biting winds,
Young orcas learn hunting strategies through imitation. Every wave, every dive, absorbed and practiced under the watchful eyes of their pod.
even in the deepest reaches of the Antarctic shelf, tiny snails graze on microscopic organisms, playing their...
In the brief Antarctic summer, snow can blush pink. Microscopic algae bloom on its surface.
As temperatures shift, vast chunks of Antarctic ice shelves calve into the sea, dramatic reminders of a rapidly changing world.
Feather stars cling to rocks or drift freely, their feathery arms filtering nutrients from the icy currents.
Type D orca, rare, reclusive, and distinct with its smaller eye patch, roams the wild waters of the Southern Ocean. Few have ever been filmed.
A single Antarctic cod navigates a labyrinth of sculpted ice, weaving through tunnels carved.
The Antarctic toothfish, prized by predators and fisheries alike, drifts through freezing depths. Its anti-freeze. The South Polar skua is Antarctica's notorious thief. Tenacious and cunning, it targets
Arctic cod thrive in water so cold it would freeze most life solid, surviving beneath an icy roof enriched with algae.
Courtship among polar bears is rare, delicate, and essential in a world where ice retreats year after year.
Despite their immense size, walruses twist underwater with surprising agility, using their powerful flippers to pirouette in slow-motion grace.
The ptarmigan undergoes 2 full wardrobe changes each year, white in winter, mottled brown in summer, camouflage perfected by evolution.
Some orcas of the Arctic are leucistic, bearing pale, ghost-like pigmentation that stands out against the deep blue sea.
Blizzards sweep across the Greenland ice sheet with fury, reducing the world to white, wind, and survival. Bearded seal mothers sing gentle, melodic calls to their newborn pups, intimate lullabies echoing beneath the ice.
After days on the hunt, Arctic wolves reunite, greeting one another with gentle whimpers and brushes of fur. In this world of extremes, how endless night and boundless day, life.
When blizzards erase the horizon, Arctic wolves navigate by memory alone, trusting instinct in a world without shape.
Ivory gulls survive by shadowing the Arctic's greatest hunter, feeding on the remnants of each polar bear kill.
The Greenland shark moves through darkness at a pace as ancient as the creature itself, living centuries in icy silence.
White as the landscape itself, the Arctic hare escapes predators by outrunning nearly everything on the tundra.
Within minutes of birth, caribou calves must stand and run, or risk being left behind by their migrating herd. Every few years, lemmings explode in number, feeding owls, foxes, hawks, and wolves.
Male bearded seals sing haunting underwater songs, their voices warping and honoring through frozen caverns. Arctic terns chase summer across the globe, traveling farther than any animal, rounding the Earth in a perpetual journey of light.
As sunlight returns, algae thrive beneath thinning ice, triggering vast krill blooms that feed nearly every creature in the Arctic Sea. As sunlight returns, algae thrive beneath thinning ice, triggering vast krill blooms that feed nearly every creature in the Arctic Sea.
Harbor seals seek rest on melting slabs of ice, fleeting islands carried wherever the sea intends. With coats denser than wool and layered with insulating underfur, musk oxen endure storms that freeze exposed skin within seconds. Bowhead whales break through ice older than human civilization, drawing air that fuels their long migrations.
Arctic wolves rely on teamwork. Every stride, every leap, a coordinated effort. The snowy owl glides like a ghost, each feather engineered to silence the air.
Walruses gather in their thousands, crowding the shoreline as sea ice retreats further each year.
Under the midnight sun, reindeer migrate across tundra that never sleeps. Belugas navigate a maze of frozen corridors, their echoing voices guiding them through the shifting labyrinth.
Few animals adapt with such elegance. The Arctic fox changes its coat with the seasons, snow white in winter, smoky gray in summer.
The polar bear, sovereign of the Arctic, prowls the frozen sea in search of seals.
At the top of our world lies a realm of frost and fire, where life survives on the edge between darkness and light.
Even in frigid seas, forests of kelp rise like underwater cathedrals, sheltering polar cod, crustaceans, and young harbor seals.
Northern fulmars glide above sheer cliffs, carving graceful arcs through relentless winds. Inside, melting Arctic glaciers lie caverns of sapphire and emerald, fragile chambers sculpted.
Even bumblebees thrive here, insulated by dense fur and warmed by a vibrating thorax as they forage across brief Arctic summers.
Narwhal calves follow their elders through underwater canyons, learning routes etched through generations.
For a young polar bear, the first plunge into icy water is both fear and necessity. A step.
The aurora paints the polar night in waves of emerald and violet, a celestial dance reflected across the frozen sea.